You will learn to explain on the first printed book in India, describe on the press and books, explain on the newspapers and journals. Texts were always preserved and kept safe in India. Preserving texts were considered as sacred in Buddhism. The texts called Dharani were produced and stamps were also printed on them during the 7th century. In India, the first book to be printed using a printing machine is the Bible. A request for press was made to the King of Portugal in 1542 by Francis Xavier, as the Christian missionaries in India wanted to produce the Holy Bible in different languages. The first book printed in India was the Bible in Konkani language in 1556. In the mid-16th century, the printing press first came to Goa, which was brought by the Portuguese missionaries. In 1579, the first Tamil book was printed at Cochin by the Catholic priests, and the first Malayalam book was printed in 1713. In 1780, James August Hickey started to edit the Bengal Gazette. Towards the end of the 18th century, a number of newspapers and journals were printed. The first newspaper to be published among the many Indian publishers was the Bengal Gazette by Gangadhar Bhattacharya. You have learned that in Buddhism, copying and preserving texts were considered as a sacred deed. The first book to be printed in India using a printing machine is the Bible. It was printed in Konkani in 1556. The printing press first came to Goa in the mid-17th century. It was brought by the Portuguese missionaries. The first newspaper to be published was the Bengal Gazette by Gangadhar Bhattacharya.